Hey everyone, it's Jonathan from Awareness Ascending. Just wanted to let you know we have a private members network at awarenessascending.com. If you sign up and become a member with us, you get live stream access. So what that allows you to do is to ask questions directly to the hosts, get readings, get healings, get live channel direct messages for your questions, information that you want, and just be part of our conversation as it develops. So head on over. We have a 7-day free trial at awarenessascending.com and enjoy the show.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's Awareness Ascending podcast. I'll be your host for the next hour. My name is Lincoln, and I'm a channel for the higher self-consciousness. Before I begin with today's podcast presentation, I'd like to guide you in a short meditation. This meditation will help you to connect more fully to your own eternal self. It'll help you to establish a deeper state of peace, and it'll also increase your knowledge of who you are, and how this reality works. So before we begin with the podcast, let us all join together. We can begin by closing our eyes. We can place our awareness at the center of our chests. Feel your heart. And relax. Notice yourself as an open state of awareness. Notice yourself as the state of perception. Feel your heart. Feel yourself as an open, empty space of perception. And relax. In every moment you are here, shining as radiant awareness. You are always still, silent, and empty. You are the empty container holding the experience of life. You are the perception holding this reality. Feel yourself as the open, empty space. Feel your spiritual heart at the center of your body. Be the container of consciousness, holding the power of love. In every moment, you are the open, empty consciousness. All the forms of life exist inside of your awareness. You are free to choose what to place your attention upon and what to create with. Feel your heart. Choose the energy of love and experience happiness increasing. And when you feel ready, you may open your eyes. Okay, welcome back. I hope that you enjoyed this short guided meditation. I hope that you're feeling more peace and a stronger connection to yourself. For today's Awareness and Ascending podcast, I'd like to talk about the topic of manifesting. So manifesting is a huge topic, and it's a very popular topic right now in our lives. And I feel that most people take the same approach to manifestation teachings. They'll tell you just decide what you want and keep thinking about it, keep knowing that it can happen, and then just focus on positive things to raise your vibration, and then the universe will give you what you want. So when we look around the world, most of the manifestation teachings, they're more or less along this type of structure. And keep your vibration high by focusing on happy things, right? Choose happy thoughts, do what you love doing, keep your vibration high. And if you do that, you'll then attract to yourself what you want to experience in your mind. But I'm going to take a different approach. Of course, that which they share is accurate, but I think that we can actually go deeper into this subject so we can become even more effective creators of our reality. In my experience, we are creators because we are God. My experience is that the same consciousness creating our entire experience of life is the same as ourselves. So there's one intelligence, one creative energy, and it's appearing as, it's manifesting itself as all of these infinite forms that we perceive. There's one consciousness, and we are all that. Now, of course, we don't know we're that. We're only experiencing a very limited part of ourselves in this human reality. Right? Our awareness is centralized around the physical body. Our intelligence is only holding knowledge based upon this lifetime. Even our creative power, we can only do so many things with our body, with our words, or with our emotions and our thoughts. So we're all God consciousness. We're all creators of our realities, but we're actually becoming more aware of what we are as the all that is, as this total state of awareness, intelligence, and energy. So let's start with this principle. If we're going to learn about manifestation, I think the first thing we can do is really start from a very accurate and very helpful foundation of knowledge. And so we are awareness, we are intelligence, we are energy, we're experiencing ourselves in a limited way, and we're going to be experiencing more of ourselves in the future. We're going to wake up to more of that which we are. Okay, so if we start with that foundation, we can immediately avoid a lot of the struggle that we have in manifesting what we want in our lives. If we notice ourselves, if we watch ourselves, we'll often realize that we're trying to prove something to ourselves. We're trying to show ourselves that we're creators. We're trying to show the world that we can do it. We're trying to manifest something because we don't really know that we're creators. We don't really believe that we're creators unless we see the evidence of it in our lives. So oftentimes in manifestation teachings, that's the biggest hurdle. That's the biggest block that we face in the beginning of the path. Right? We don't know we're creators. We're trying to manifest something new and different. And it's like we have to overcome our own doubt first. Right? And you may notice the doubt appears many times in your life. You do something, you have an expectation about how it'll happen or when it'll happen. And when it doesn't go that way, you feel depressed, you feel sad, you feel angry. You notice that you're doubting your effectiveness as a creator in your life. So let's start this process from a different place, and let's try to get out of that original area of struggle by honoring this basic idea that I'm essentially the same as God. I'm just realizing more of what I am. I'm expanding into more of what I am. If we look around this reality, we see that everything is a creator. Everything is a creator. Our body has limitations, so our physical body can only create in certain ways. Our mind and our emotional energy system, that's also a structure, and that has different limitations. And so the mind and the emotions, they create in a certain way. But regardless of the limitations of the structures that we have, we're still creators. And we look around the world, everything's a creator. right? A plant is creating its own existence. It's keeping itself alive. A plant knows to reach towards the sun and reach its roots down towards the water. A plant knows to expand itself into its environment. Animals, they know how to survive. Animals are trying to eat and rest and reproduce and also have an enjoyable experience. So we look around this universe and we realize that everything is alive and everything is doing something. It's moving towards these desires that it has. And so it's all an expression of creativity. And there's an intelligence inside every form that's guiding the creative expression. Now, in our own human realities, all we essentially know is ourselves, and we learn from each other by communicating with each other. And what we can see in our lives is that we do have an intelligence that understands our creative process. Our level of human consciousness allows us to reflect upon what we do. We can remember the past, we can imagine things we want in the future, and we can participate in the present moment to build our desires. So when we look at our human reality, we're conscious creators, and we have a great amount of reflectivity, a great amount of internal processing that we can use in order to discover ourselves as these conscious creators in our lives. So whenever we look at our reality, we see actual evidence of truth. And the first idea that we want to accept is that I am a creator in my reality. It's not something I have to prove. I am it. I speak, I act, I make choices, I think, I feel emotions, I communicate myself to the world. I'm a creator. Now, I can accept that because it's appearing in my reality. So we want to start there. If we start there, then the next step becomes really, really simple. It's a matter of participating more in your life. So I think one of the biggest challenges, I would call this the second challenge for most manifestation teachings, is that when people apply them, they often hold back their participation. A lot of people are afraid to speak and afraid to act, afraid to make choices. They're afraid to take risks. Part of it is because they don't believe they're a creator, but another part is they don't know how to create. Right? We've already taken care of that first step, knowing you're a creator. But the second part, that's often not taught. And the way that it is taught is in a very limiting manner. And what it says is basically think about it in your mind and then trust that it's going to appear in your life. But if you ask a number of people in the audience, you'll find the great majority aren't having the success that they want to have. That's why they're still reading the books and going to the retreats and workshops. So if we start with our new proposition that I am a creator, that everything is a creator, then the next step that follows from that is just allow yourself to participate in this creative experience. And through participation, I mean, let yourself make choices. Allow yourself to do what you want to do. Allow yourself to speak and to act. Allow yourself to feel, to generate emotion. Allow yourself to think. Learn how to use your mind and willingly use it more. So success in our lives comes from us being a creator. So how can we step into that role of being a creator more fully? And to me, that means embracing all the different parts of our human experience. We want to embrace the physical body as part of this experience and our emotions and our human intelligence. All the different parts of ourselves we want to embrace so we can channel ourselves fully as creators in our lives. Something I notice with manifestation students is they're often afraid to participate. And so they apply the teachings by holding themselves back. They hold themselves back and they ask for God to bring it to them. They're afraid to express, so they want the outside to express for them. I want God to bring it to me, but I don't want to make any changes in my life. I want God to make me enlightened, but I don't want to change how I understand things. I just want the enlightenment to be given to me. So a lot of times people unknowingly are limiting their expression as a creator, but then at the same time desiring a greater experience of being a creator. And it's not going to happen. What we need to do is give ourselves permission to more fully participate in our lives. When we do this, we allow ourselves to come into the body as the creative consciousness we are. We allow ourselves to come into the mind and into the emotions, and we use them more fully in our lives. So give yourself permission to create the expression that you want to have. Give yourself permission to live the fullest life and not to be afraid of expressing the uniqueness of yourself, to not be afraid of expressing the desires that you have. Allow yourself to be a full creative expression in this human reality, because that's going to allow you to see the greatest reflection from your life, and then you continue on the journey. That brings us to the third part. The third part, again, is really, really simple. It's very basic. The third part is observe what's happening in your environment as the effects of your creations. So you're always a creator, and when you speak, the world hears you and it responds to you. When you move, the world receives that movement and it responds to you. Every thought you have is informing the universe of your ideas. So the world's going to respond to that mental energy. So after you allow yourself to express more fully, don't just hold on to techniques of telling God to bring it to you. No, bring yourself into the fullness of life. As you do this, the next step is just observe what happens. You're already creating when you speak and move and feel and think. You're already creating, so watch how the world's responding to that. And as you observe that, you'll notice that the world is responding the way you want, or it's not responding the way you want. And then the next step is to learn why. By observing what comes to you in life, you're setting yourself up to learn. So the fourth step would be learn, which means recognize that you're on the journey of awakening. You don't have the all-knowing mind of God yet as your experience, but you're expanding your knowledge, you're knowing more. You don't have the all-powerful creative energy of God yet, but you do have creative energy, you have power, and expand into more power and energy. What this looks like is you wanting to understand something, so you use your mind more and you think about what you're observing. You want success, so you're staying in a higher vibrational feeling as you participate in your life. You want that physical experience, so you're allowing yourself to participate, to try something different. Notice how the world responds then, and now you have two things to compare. And now you can learn new knowledge by placing those two things in a state of comparison. So the fourth step is to allow yourself to learn. You're not supposed to get everything right. You're going to fail 99% of the time, and you're going to succeed that 1%, because once you succeed, the journey's over. Once you succeed, you've reached your goal. So every moment, you're moving towards your goal. And if you get disappointed when you're not yet in that successful place yet, then you're not going to do very well succeeding. You're going to abandon it. You're going to shame yourself or fight with yourself in some way. So we have to understand we are students of God. We're becoming God realized. We're becoming masterful creators in our lives. We're learning how to be happy. And if we accept that place within ourselves, then we allow ourselves to participate in learning, and we stop shaming ourselves. We stop fighting with ourselves, and we also stop shaming and fighting each other. By going on this process, it's very, very easy to see how success will come to you. Right? You are a creator in your life. You're made that way. Everything is a creator. And if you just observe life, you will see continual experiences of evidence that confirm that basic idea. Everything is a creator because everything is God participating in life. Then we allow ourselves to express as a creator. We allow ourselves to use all the parts of ourselves to create what we want. We don't rely upon limited techniques and think, well, if I just pray to God, then I'll take care of everything. No, it won't, because we have to become a creator. We have to become one with everything. So we're not going to reject different parts. Instead, we're going to allow ourselves to have a full creative experience. Cultivate a healthy, happy state of mind. Cultivate healthy, happy emotional energy. Cultivate confidence and cultivate knowledge of how things work so you can take those physical actions. Take responsibility for your life as the creator you are. The next step, just observe. Observe, because only through observing are you going to realize the effects of your actions. If you desire an experience in the world, you're going to have to know how the world's responding to every one of your creations so you can modify your creations to reach that goal, to get the world to respond a certain way. Even in meditation, meditation is a manifestation process. Everything we do is a creative manifestation process. When we meditate, we're going inside our minds and we're learning how to control our minds. So we have to observe, how does the mind respond to me when I'm doing a meditative instruction? If I'm just breathing, how's my mind responding to that? If I'm visualizing something, how's my mind responding to that? If I'm just focusing my awareness, how's my mind responding to that? So even when it's an inner experience, we're still observing the cause and effect relationship between ourselves and the forms in our perception. The last thing is realize you're not God realized yet, but you're God realization in progress. You are a progression of awakening. You're a journey. Realize you're not perfect. You don't have to be perfect. And you're going to go on a journey to eventually reach all of your goals. Every desire you have will either manifest itself successfully, or you will realize that you no longer desire it because you now have a higher understanding. Either you're going to get what you want, or you're going to realize you don't want it anymore. That's how desire works. As long as you honor your desire, you're going to have one of those two experiences, so you're going to be happy. We're on a journey of learning and awakening. We're on a journey of expressing ourselves, creating into life, learning that we're creators, and that's what the purpose of our desires are. So as you learn in life, you let yourself awaken to more power, more awareness, more intelligence, and now you can create more successfully. And the best part is these higher levels of manifestation, these higher levels of understanding, they have the wisdom built into them. So the more effortlessly you create, the more you are living in harmony with these higher spiritual principles of wisdom. The more you're trusting life, the more you're living without fear, the more you're living in love and allowance and peace and compassion. So the more you align with these higher principles, these higher wisdom states, the more quickly, the more easily, the more effortlessly everything's going to manifest in your life. So it's a very, very simple process. When we look at it, it's very hands-on. Of course, there's lots of techniques to work with the mind. There's lots of ways to stimulate your emotions into greater states of happiness and health. But I think we really have to embrace this whole picture if we want to have success in our lives as creators. We have to be willing to love the body in the same way that we love our soul. We have to be willing to participate in our lives, not just in our thoughts, not just in our meditation practices, but also in our speech and in our actions. We have to try to come into our reality in a greater way so we can experience more of who we are as God. So I wanted to give you this breakdown in the creative manifestation process. It's 4 basic steps, and they're very easy for anybody to understand and apply. Recognize yourself as a creator, express yourself into life, observe what happens in the environment, and then learn from your experiences. If you allow yourself to do this, I promise you, you'll make a lot of progress. The reason why we trip ourselves up is we doubt that we're creators. We have our mind fixated on ideas that this one technique is going to do it. So I ignore everything else and hope that this one technique does it all. We limit our creative expression. We also don't observe what happens in our life. We just keep trying the same thing over and over and over again, not actually watching what happens as a reaction. We trust the teaching so much that we think that the world will just do what I want it to do because that's what the guru told me. We're not actually observing what's happening in our creative reality. And the 4th part, we get angry with ourselves, we get angry with God. We shame ourselves, we hate life because it's not happening the way we expect it to. We're not learning, we're not accepting that we're on a process of learning and awakening. So it's real easy. If we can get all those 4 pieces in alignment, we'll find that we step out of stress, we step out of struggle, we feel so free as we allow ourselves to participate in life. And we also feel the happiness of learning. Discovering something new gives the body and mind a feeling of elation. It's a very joyous experience when we awaken into something new. So even as we embrace this process of manifestation, we're creating more joy and happiness in our lives, and that shows us we're on the right track. Anytime we do anything that adds happiness in ourselves, we're on the right track towards awakening, because ultimately we all want happiness. So if we're getting more and more states of happiness and higher states of happiness, we're doing something right. We're awakening to more of who we are. So I wanted to lay this out for you at first, give your mind time to digest it. Maybe after our interaction today, just think about it, think about these 4 steps, and then try to apply them more in your life. Information is only valuable when you put it to work. If it stays in your mind, it doesn't really create the changes in your life that you're hoping it would. So take some time to digest these 4 things and put them to work in your life and see what happens. Okay. For the remainder of today's Awareness Ascending podcast, I'm going to channel the higher self for you. And then after that, I'm going to allow you to ask questions. Okay. I don't know what the higher self is going to bring through, but because today's topic is manifestation, I think it's going to relate to that. Okay. I hope you enjoy the channeling. Dear one, close your eyes. Feel your spiritual heart. Be at peace. You, dear one, are God. You are life's creator. You are God. You are the eternal self. Feel your heart. Relax into this knowledge. Feel the knowledge that you are God. This is you. Your present moment is what you are. You are not the human body. The human body is within you. It is part of you, but you are so much greater. You, dear one, are the consciousness dreaming life. You are the consciousness dreaming life. And you are here as life's creator. You are here as the eternal self. Feel your heart. Feel your consciousness. And understand that everything you're perceiving is you. It is all here within yourself as consciousness. You, dear one, are this. You are the state of existence. And within your power, you have created this world. And you have given yourself a form in this world. And you've given yourself an environment in this world. You've given yourself a form-based experience shaped by rules and laws. And within this dream of life, you participate as a character in the story. You participate along a journey of awakening. Feel your heart. Feel this truth. In every moment, dear ones, you're experiencing yourself. So it benefits you to become more aware of what is happening in the present moment. Far too often, we focus only on our thoughts and the information we are told, and we do not understand the value of being in the present. You, dear one, want enlightenment. You want happiness. You want knowledge. You want success. All of these things require you to participate in the present moment. And what we mean by this, dear ones, is that you become more aware than you presently are. You become more intelligent than you presently are. And you allow yourself to participate, you allow yourself to express and create, so you may become more powerful than you currently are. The greatest thing that you can do for yourselves along the path of awakening, along this path of ascension or success and manifestation, is to give yourselves full permission to come into the present moment and participate in life. By being here, you become more aware. Now your consciousness is expanding. Let yourself use your intelligence. Use your logic. Improve upon its quality of comprehension. Use your rational thought. Learn from your past experiences. Use your memory. Use your imagination. Imagine a life and feel, would that make me happy? Use your intuition. Learn how a subtle feeling in your chest directs you. Awaken to non-physical states of perception, communication between your body and the forms of your world. Expand by becoming more aware in the present moment. So listen more and think less. Observe more, including observing your feelings and the feelings of your environment. Observe the subtle voice of intuition. Observe more and do less. Receive while you observe. Learn. Watch what is happening. Feel the inner universe of understanding inside your body and mind. Make it your goal to become more present, to expand yourself in the present moment. This will give you so much more than just focusing on practices. This will give you so much more than relying upon techniques. Your awakening process, dear one, is you understanding who you are, which means you have to understand the present moment. You have to understand the I am that is in the present moment. You have to understand the creator that is in the present moment. Far more important than putting new concepts into your mind is participating in your life in the present moment with awareness, intelligence, and energy all engaged. We're going to emphasize this so you feel it, so you hear it, so you understand its importance. So right now, feel yourself expanded. Feel the space of your own awareness. Feel what it is like to be here, to be in your reality, more awake. Perceive more. Feel yourself here. Be the consciousness. Notice yourself as the consciousness. Feel yourself present, radiant as light, shining as power, brilliant, full of intelligence. Feel yourself here, fully. And understand, dear ones, the more you feel yourself here, the more you become present, the greater you will become as consciousness. And that's what you're finally going to realize. You're finally going to realize that you are the consciousness creating this reality, creating this dream of life. By being present, you're being more conscious of consciousness, more conscious of yourself, more conscious of this reality. You're not trying to change the forms. You're trying to be the fullness of right now. The forms will keep changing. You will continue to participate. And while you do it with awareness. Be more present here while you breathe, while you look around the world, while you eat, and even while you sleep. Be more present while you think and feel and act. Expand yourself here as the creative consciousness. Feel your heart. Feel your open state of awareness. Feel yourself present, fully present. Now, when you do this, dear ones, you're doing something very important. You're creating more consciousness in your dream of life. You're waking up. You're creating expanded awareness, intelligence, and energy in the present moment of your experience. You are awakening directly. That's the power of being in the present moment. You expand your awareness, intelligence, and energy of what is. And what is, and what is, and what is in every present moment. You keep expanding. And you will learn just by being here, because your awareness grows and your intelligence grows. And you will create what you desire, because being here more fully means more creative energy. Feel yourself here as the consciousness. Feel yourself heart-centered and radiant as awareness. So this is you. You're the consciousness. And the forms of life appear inside of you. They appear inside of your awareness, inside of your intelligence, and inside of your creative energy. The forms of life appear inside of you. And you are God. Feel yourself as this expanded state of consciousness. Feel yourself here in the present moment. We wanted to share this with you because oftentimes, while living in the human reality, we are so heavily focused on all the separate forms. We have to take care of our job. We have to take care of our family. We have to take care of our body. We have to take care of our mind. We have to do all these things and spend all this time and energy focused on all the forms of our existence. And oftentimes we're neglecting the focusing upon ourselves as consciousness. You focus on your body. You take a lot of time to care for it, even to dress it up, to make it look nice. But how much time do you focus on nurturing your own self, on caring for your own consciousness? Some of us, we have very busy lives, so we're lucky to get 30 minutes of meditation in a day. But even during those 30 minutes, what are you doing? What are you meditating upon? Are you trying to create an emotional feeling? That's another form. Are you trying to silence your thoughts? Well, that's working with forms also. You see, what we're talking about, dear one, is very, very specific. It's about your recognition of your deeper self as the consciousness. And as you focus on feeling yourself as the clear light of awareness, and as you focus on discovering that deep silent knowing, and as you feel yourself as this creative power of life, you're expanding the most important part of your reality. You're expanding you. And that's what you should be meditating upon. And that's what you should be more aware of during your day. It takes but a moment to shift your perception and feel yourself as consciousness. You could do it any moment of the day and as many moments each day as you desire. But how often do you remember to do that? You see, oftentimes we're going after individual items, individual aspects of our life. But what we're forgetting is to embrace the I am. We're thinking that if I just change my body, then I'll be happy. If I just change my thoughts, then I'll know who I am. But both of those are missing the purpose. Feel yourself as consciousness and then live your life. And you can still go after everything that you want. You can create a silent mind. You can build a body of health. You can build a successful career. And you do it while you're recognizing yourself and feeling yourself more fully expressed in the present moment. All of these forms are God. Mind, emotion, body, world, it's all God. Know yourself as the consciousness that creates with life's forms. Know yourself as the intelligent container creating with life. So that's our message for you. The channel taught you about manifesting and creating and the 4 steps you can apply, and this is all wonderful. And remember, while you're doing this, while you're allowing yourself to participate as the creator of your life, remember to feel the qualities of your creator, your awareness, your intelligence, your energy. That's the creator's qualities. Those are your qualities. So feel yourself as them while you participate. Recognize I am the creative consciousness, and this is how I discover myself, by feeling my open awareness, by being that deeper intelligence, by creating an expression of myself into my life. And then go on the journey applying the next 3 steps. And always, while you're doing this, remember it's me learning about me. It's me expanding me. That's the focus. That's the awakening journey. You will participate and you will all have your heart's desires satisfied. You will. And the purpose of seeking your desire is to realize that you created the success. You created the happiness. And lifetime after lifetime, experience after experience, you keep creating, creating, creating. Succeeding, succeeding, succeeding. And that is showing yourself more and more and more that you are God. That you're the creator of your reality. So that's our teaching, that's our meditation, that's the guidance for you. We thank you all for enjoying it. We thank you all for embracing this experience. Now, if anyone has some questions, you may raise your virtual hand and the channel will choose one of you and you can speak and share and we can engage in a communication together. Anyone have any questions or even anything they'd like to share? Did anyone have any unique experiences while you were hearing the information, doing the meditation? Any questions about the different steps that I provided or how to apply them in your life? No questions? Okay. Well, I think that'll wrap it up for tonight then. I hope you all enjoyed the teaching as well as the meditation and the energy activation that the higher self gave to you. Remember, your life is what you create it to be. And you're the one who's responsible for how you speak and how you think and how you feel. You're the one responsible for creating your reality. So give yourself permission to live from your heart, feel your heart's love, feel its happiness, and be that expression, that fullest expression of yourself in your life. Because that's what you're here to learn. Right? We're only happy when we are expressing ourselves fully. We're only happy when we are coming into our lives more fully.
Hey, Lincoln, can you hear me now?
I can hear you. You have a question?
Oh, yes, I of course I have a question. I was muted and I couldn't get unmuted, but I think I start my video. Okay, now okay. Now we're connected. The host blocked me. My
I blocked.
Thanks, Jonathan. But anyway, so I totally agree with everything you said. And the question I have is a perspective that I don't share, but some people around me share, and I don't know how to answer to come to common terms, because they basically say that we only can create what whoever is above us, we call God, but they don't call it God, they call them ETs and whatever, that we can only express what they let us. And there is a destiny that we have. There is a plan that instead of X, it won't happen. They won't let us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can speak upon that idea. So first, I think people are trying to give explanations of why they can or cannot experience what they want in their life. And oftentimes people like to project or I forget the word to use. They take their sense of responsibility and they displace it off of themselves. And it's the whole idea of like, you made me do it, right? If I, for example, got really angry at you, for example, Glenn, which of course I wouldn't, but if I got really angry at you, I might say, well, you made me do it, as if your will controlled my will, right? So we do it to ETs, we do it to our parents, we do it to our friends in relationships, we do it to God or the universe as well. I think the challenge we're having as human beings is we're not understanding how creation works or how success works. Okay? And so if it doesn't work out for me, we say, well, God wouldn't let me, life wouldn't let me. We displace it. And I think that abandons the central idea that I'm awakening to more of who I am as a creator.
Oh, it's the opposite of what you were saying. Yeah, I understand all that.
Yeah.
So but this actually comes from a person who actually hears voices and spirits and aliens and whoever she hears. I mean, some people hear voices and they go and kill people because the voice told me to do it. So I do understand that. But this particular person is so fixed in the belief system that everything is controlled by somebody else, that it just, yeah, it's the exact opposite of
Yeah.
what you're saying. Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, and so in my own experience, right, I've done experiments, as you know, Glenn. I love to experiment, and I do usually with my own self and my reality. So I've had experiments where now I have an ability to communicate with what I call the higher self. It's the greater universal intelligence within myself, and it knows things that my human self can't possibly know. So I've been given insights. I've been told certain things are going to happen, and I've purposefully gone against those, right,
Okay.
in order to experiment, right, to test it out. Because if my higher self tells me it's going to happen and then I cooperate with it, how do I know that it wasn't just me doing it? Right. So
Right,
so I'll go against it. Like, I'll know it intuitively, I'll even hear it being said, and I'll do something else and it'll still happen. Now, along that experiment, I was still able to do what my personal human will wanted to do, but it didn't give me the end result, or something else happened. So I've asked the universe sometimes. I'll give you some concrete examples, real examples from my life. So I've asked the universe, okay, how can or I want something, I want a bicycle. This is something that happened very long ago when I was first learning how to channel, and it's like maybe 2007. So I wanted, in Sedona where I live, I wanted a bicycle so I could bike around and enjoy it. And I didn't know that I was going to be moving. I had no idea that I was going to be moving. And I asked the higher self, and it said, no, like, you don't need the bicycle. Don't get the bicycle.
yeah.
Here, I'm wanting it, and it's practical. It's like, but I don't have to pay for gas. And I love being outside. And I used to love riding a bike when I was a kid, and everyone here mountain bikes, and there's road trails. It's really nice. So I knew that the higher self said, no, we don't get a bicycle. You're not going to ride it. It told me you're not going to ride it. Those were the words. You're not going to ride it. Didn't make sense to me. So I go online and I shop and I purchase a bicycle and I have them ship it to me. After I purchased the bicycle, like 2 days later or so, the woman I was with at the time, we had a discussion and we decided to move. Right? We decided to leave Sedona and to move somewhere else. And that was a new decision. It wasn't made before the choice to make the bicycle was made. We actually moved then to a different city across the country. And where I lived, I never unpacked the bicycle. I never rode the bicycle. And I ended up selling the bicycle online to someone else who then could use it. So the higher self knew this. I heard it. I was told, no, you're not going to ride the bicycle. I went ahead and bought the bicycle. So here I have a higher consciousness that told me what was going to happen, and I went against it.
Yeah, that's a good, right. That's a great example, but most people can't do that. Yeah. So they will just buy the bicycle anyway because they want it. You talked about desires, yeah. And then and this parallels with what I'm talking about, destiny, because your destiny was to move, and your personal desires were to stay there and bicycle around. So if there's a plan, and the plan at that stage in your life was to move to this new city, then what's the point in manifesting things unless you know that they are the things that will be for our higher good, or will we be able to manifest things which are for our higher good?
Those are two great questions. So my experience is that we have different levels of intelligence. So a part of my human personality that had memories of my childhood and physically with my eyes looked around where I lived in Sedona, it built an understanding that I would love to have a bicycle here. So my human personality wanted, but my eternal personality, my higher self, which knew a bigger picture, knew more about this path of destiny, as you called it, it made a different choice. it guided me a different way. So if I was connected into my human body, feeling like my human personality, I would have bought the bicycle, which I did do.
Right.
If I was more feeling like my soul consciousness expanded and eternal and using that intelligence, I would not have bought the bicycle. So my experience is that both exist, my human personality and my higher soul personality, or my higher soul intelligence, awareness, and energy. And I have a choice, because both are happening within me, which one do I want to align with? For me, everything's allowed in the universe. My body has desires, my emotions have desires, my thoughts have desire-based as well. My soul has desires. God, you could say the universe has desires. Where do I align myself? And that's based upon how do I know myself? So in my life, I don't feel there's any restriction. I think that my body wants things and doesn't want other things. So my body will rationalize, yeah, maybe I should, do something, but it might get me arrested. It's like, I want to eat the chocolate cake, but I don't have the money for it. So maybe I'll get arrested. So I don't want to be arrested. So I won't steal the chocolate cake. My body has desires, but also other desires. It doesn't want to get arrested. And we weigh those desires together, and that makes every choice. Our soul has a different set of desires. My soul doesn't care about the chocolate cake. My soul wants to experience blissful oneness with everything. My soul wants God realization. My physical body wants survival and sensory pleasure. My emotions want emotional pleasure, stronger feeling of emotion and higher frequency of emotion. My mind wants knowledge, which includes the knowledge of who I am as a creator and how life works. So that's how I see it. The forms themselves have built into themselves these desires based upon what the forms are and the types of experiences the forms have. And it's my choice to see all this happening in my dream of life, because the soul is a form that I'm perceiving. It's a light body. It has intelligence, awareness, and energy. It's like, it's a thing. It's the deepest thing that I can perceive, but it's still existing inside of my experience. So do I want to align myself as this container of consciousness with the physical body or with the soul, right? And I think that then shows us, if we align with a higher aspect of ourselves, we also get a higher quality experience. So we learn just by participating. But I don't see any limitation. I really don't. And I think that the only limitations are this, I'll say, and that's that the circumstances are not yet correct. They're not aligned. They're not happening yet. So you need to have conditions, right? Like for any experiment in science or for any event in our lives, there has to be conditions. If it's going to rain, there has to be certain conditions. There has to be moisture in the air. There has to be certain barometric pressures. Temperature aspects, and there have to be things going on. There has to be conditions met for something to appear. If our conditions aren't met, we haven't created them yet on a personal level or as a collective level or as a universal level. I think that the only thing stopping experiences from manifesting are the conditions that cause it are not yet here. But in terms of permission, see, a lot of people would call it permission. Like, well, I'm not allowed to do it. God won't let me. The ETs won't let me. That's permission. I think the reason why it doesn't happen is because conditions are not here. One of the big challenges that people have, especially in the ET world, is they believe in their slaves. They believe they're inferior to the ET races. Therefore, the superior won't give me permission to express myself in a free will way. And what we're not realizing as human beings is there's conditions. So if I want to fly with my physical body, I have to meet the conditions. I can't just snap my fingers and fly unless the conditions are met. But maybe one of those conditions is me actually knowing that everything is pure energy. So if I truly know it's pure energy, I can snap my fingers and I can fly. But if I don't have that condition met, then I'm going to have to get an airplane or a parachute or something else to fly with. So for me, I see that, yeah, as long as certain conditions, and there's a whole range that can determine something to manifest, as long as those conditions are met, it'll happen. But having permission to pursue something or permission to do something, I think is a completely different story. So I think a lot of people mistake that permission. And when I look at them, usually they have beliefs that they're not powerful enough, that something's more powerful than me, something controls me. And in their life, they've met a lot of disappointment, and that's how they've explained it to themselves. I've never explained it to myself thinking I'm powerless or I can't do it. For me, it's the conditions haven't been met yet. So if I can learn more, how can I get the conditions to arise so I can succeed?
That's a good way to distinguish our view from their view. And that was a good summary. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. That's a great question. Yeah, because I see that a lot. A lot of people ask me about free will and destiny and like, why don't things happen? And I think we're learning how to participate better. Like what I explained to you, I just learned that through my life. Like I've never answered that question about permissions and, conditions. I've talked about conditions, but never the permission part because no one really emphasized that aspect in the same way you did, Glenn. So I just learned something new, but I also, I had it in me. I just never heard myself talk about it.
Expression.
Yeah, right. We have so much knowledge that we never vocalize. And I don't have many thoughts, so I usually don't hear everything that I know. It's in there somewhere. I just haven't heard myself say it
yet. Great. Okay, great. Thank you. Okay.
Do you have another question at all, Glenn? Or is anybody
I got a million questions. I don't want to hog the show here.
Yeah, go for it. No one else has a hand raised. And
talk for another hour here. All right. So one of the other things you said that was interest to me is there's only one consciousness. And that is true at an energy level because all other consciousnesses are manifestations of God consciousness. You did use that adjective once, but it's confusing because there's the self, the consciousness of of the body. There's the consciousness of animals. Inanimate objects have a consciousness. There are so many different types of consciousness. Divine consciousness is the most fundamental, but there are many other lower forms of consciousness. So, to me, I think we need another word for what you're calling God consciousness, because it is different from all the other types of consciousnesses, and that there are many different types of consciousnesses.
Yeah, I think the way you're saying it is perfect. I think the answer is in how you're saying it.
Yeah, well, I know the answer. I'm just kind of
So
verbalizing.
I'll explain how I see it.
Yeah.
Okay, so if we strip away all the forms, then the one consciousness can only experience itself as the entire space. Okay. But once we put a form in the space, now we create the appearance of two different things. So what happens is the consciousness that's filling the space gets identified with the form that's appearing in the space.
Right.
And that consciousness has forgotten that it is the all that is and identifies with the form and therefore the characteristics of the form. So I have a body, but I am also bringing my consciousness into the body. And now I'm expressing the body as conscious. Because if I leave my body just lays there. Like if I'd actually die and leave completely, my body no longer has an expression of consciousness, but it still has an expression of the physical matter. So consciousness is what we are. We're like God. Well, we are God. And we've created this reality on a universal level, also on a personal level because we're plugged into it. But when we identify with a form, we add our consciousness to the form and we believe we're the form. Therefore, we act out the functions and the desires of the form, mistakenly thinking they're myself. So
doesn't that pure consciousness change when it takes on a form?
Yes. No, the consciousness doesn't change what it is and what it can do, but how it expresses now changes. So the consciousness to me is infinite intelligence, infinite awareness, infinite energy, right? So it's these qualities, awareness, intelligence, and energy. But when I tap into the body, now I limit my awareness because I believe with my intelligence that I'm only this body in a separate universe. And I believe I'm only the information that the physical body has received through the senses and stored in the nervous system. So my awareness, intelligence, energy, the soul believes it's the structure and therefore limits itself to only being what the structure is.
Yeah, okay, absolutely. But we're talking about the consciousness itself. You're saying the consciousness itself doesn't change, but its
Yeah,
expression changes. Well,
yeah,
if its expression changes, when it is pure divine consciousness, yes, it can manifest anything and everything. But when it's in a physical body, it, as you just said, it can't express itself to the same level that it can when it's pure, and therefore it can't express and manifest everything.
if the consciousness is identified to the body only. So I'll give you an example of my own experience. So
Okay.
I have access to information that is impossible for my human body to know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So that's because my consciousness has expanded my identity. I realized when I was younger, beginning spirituality, that I have to be the whole universe. It just made sense logically, and it just felt true intuitively. And I just like honored that idea. So I started developing these like ESP skills, like psychic ability, remote viewing, channeling, all these things. So I started embracing an idea that I am the all that is. And then I have experiences that actually validate that to the level at which I can identify myself as the all that is. So I don't have complete manifestation of the all that is abilities, because my self is still identified with the human body in some proportional level to my identification with being the all that is.
And your consciousness is diluted, if you will, from its pure state and limited.
In perception, yeah, but it's only because I've identified as being a form.
Well, okay, for whatever reason, but
Yeah,
okay,
because you have
so
like these yogis, like you have these yogis, and we hear stories of like the rainbow light body and levitation, dematerialization, the body
sure,
turns just to pure
amazing
light.
stuff. Yeah.
They know that the physical body is pure consciousness. At least some of them do, I imagine, because of how they can demonstrate these abilities, like the rainbow light body. So they show you that it's pure consciousness. They know it, and they know the form is not different than pure consciousness. Right?
So
For
it boils
myself,
down.
yeah,
So it boils down to your belief.
how you're using your infinite intelligence. Is your infinite intelligence creating an idea of being a limited self?
Okay. No, it doesn't, because it doesn't perceive itself that way. It's the mind that perceives it that way.
Yeah, but our consciousness is, I understand what you're saying, I agree, but our consciousness is using the mind. It's believing the mind. It's so tied into the mind. So if you silence your mind, you can go into pure consciousness.
Exactly.
Yeah. But you had to let go of identification with the body and the senses
yeah,
and the
right,
thoughts and the
exactly.
emotions and everything.
Exactly. So that
But
has
then
to
you
be
come
one of the,
back because you're identified.
right. So that has to be one of the critical 4 steps that you outlined in the beginning of your talk.
Yeah, the first
Surely.
one, knowing that you're the all that is, knowing you are the creator.
Well,
That's
yeah, but it's more than
encompassed in the beginning.
it's
It's a
more than
relative, a creator, and a
knowing.
universal. Yeah, but you
Well,
have to start where you're at. I understand what you're saying, but we can't get to the experience of being the creator unless we start to honor the knowledge, like the possibility that it's true. And logic helps us confirm that it's true. It's like with science, because I'm speaking because you're a scientist, like first you have a belief that, yeah, I think it's true, but now we have to go prove it. We have to give ourselves the experience that validates the idea. So you always start with the idea because a part of you does know it. You feel it's true. Now you want to go live the experience. You want to prove
it. But you can't prove it until you have disidentified with the physical body. So it's
That's
like
true.
a circle here. I mean,
Or if you redefine the physical body. So the way I look at it is the physical body doesn't limit me in any way because it's just one of God's forms appearing.
no, that's not, I like that. That's good. Yeah, 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 yeah. See,
Yeah,
but
because
and even just to believe that, I mean, you can say that, but to believe it is different. And in order to believe it, you have to let go of the of the of the brainwashing that we've received for all these years, whether it's 40,
yeah,
50 or 60 years.
yeah, totally agree.
So it's not so easy to do, to
Oh,
just
yeah.
let it
Yeah,
go.
I love the teachings of Lao Tzu. He says the wise man unlearns something every day.
Yeah, there we go. Oh, nice,
Yeah,
nice.
yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. I love
Right.
that statement. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool.
Mhm.
Okay, good. All right. Well, there's our little discussion for the
All
evening.
right,
Okay,
perfect.
good.
Yeah,
Thank
awesome.
you.
I enjoyed it, Glenn. Thank you very much. You always have great insights and questions.
Thank you for sharing.
You're welcome.
Jonathan didn't ask any questions. I'm impressed.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll save those till next week. All right,
Hopefully
or next month. Next month.
next month. Right.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Great. Yeah. Thank you, Glenn. Thank you, Jonathan. Thank you, everybody else who showed up for today. I hope you all enjoyed the channeling, the information, and also the discussion that followed. I look forward to presenting again to you next month as we continue to dive deeper into our own realities with the Awareness Ascending show. So take care, everyone. Lots of love. Enjoy your journey, and I'll see you all next month.
Thank you.